It's time for the Steve and Kyle podcast with Steve.
I would absolutely go to Spook Fest.
You would. You would try.
Yeah, I'd be there.
You would spend call it
Yep.
$200 to get down there.
Heck yeah.
A couple $100 for these tickets to get to the.
A couple $100?
If you want to go a couple nights, it's gonna be a couple $100.
Oh, we're going a couple of nights?
2 nights.
To the same thing?
Yeah, because it's too busy to get through it all in one night.
All right, I'm out.
Don't feel quite as bad about not asking you now.
No desire. Oh, wow, look, a ghost.
And Kyle.
20 years ago, you were picking up the jet ski, heading out to the ocean after an hour drive, and hair blowing through the wind. And now you're like
2007 Yamaha VX 110 Sport. Oh,
and now
beautiful machine. Only 17 and a half hours on it when I sold it.
Now you're hugging a truss, yelling at your 4-year-old to call 911 before you fall.
Yeah, that wasn't great.
Now, here they are, two guys who are living in style, Steve and Kyle.
I know it's not the way it went because they were gone.
Yeah,
But in my head right now, I'm laughing
that's how it went.
at the image of you like a sloth. 2 legs wrapped around and 2 arms wrapped around the bottom of a truss.
Help!
Yelling, "Come on! Call 911 or your mother!"
Get the ladder!
Again, I know it's 100% not how it went,
Yeah.
but you can't convince me otherwise.
Yeah, that's how I remember it. What is it, the Mandela effect?
I'll bet you this story is going to be like you had one steel toe clasped around while you were swinging back and forth in the wind, hanging upside down.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Very briefly, Steve, how is the garage? Is it everything you hoped and dreamed for? It's all, the Comanche's back there. It's all done.
Comanche's back there. Yeah, it's been back there for a couple of weeks.
Yep.
The one thing that I have to do, I have to put the garage door on, and that is a today/tomorrow
Okay.
endeavor.
So I say I was curious if it brought you as much joy or as sense of accomplishment, or I don't know how to describe it, as you hoped it would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so far. A little frustrating earlier in the week. I had some issues with inspection and things like that. But
you had to deal with the local municipalities,
I
you?
did, yeah. It's actually, I learned that it's actually not the local municipality. It is contracted out by the local municipality to an independent company.
But is this something that you have to wait until it's done and then have them come out?
There are certain points along the way where they have to come out for, I learned they were supposed to do a concrete inspection. Oof.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, so started building anyway.
Yeah.
They had to do
what are they looking at with the concrete?
I'm assuming to make sure that that the slab is thick enough.
Like, are they just going to have, a 6-inch level and set it on there and say, nailed it?
Good job.
Yeah, I that's confusing.
Don't know. There also has to be, it's referred to as a rough-in inspection.
Okay.
So
you got like the frame up.
Yeah, when the frame is up.
That's what I'm a
So
builder.
past that, and I have to once the door is up, then I can call them back and they can do the final inspection.
It just seems strange to me. It's, hey, do it all, and then we'll take a look at it.
Right? Yeah.
And I don't know if it's every state, but in my previous industry where I was, working in the beverage industry.
Mm-hmm. Down in the trenches.
Obviously, that was down in the trenches.
Yeah.
Seeing new liquor stores, party stores open, the state would make you essentially have the store filled.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to buy everything. The merchandise from vendors, the soda, the beer, the liquor, all of this stuff. Have your store set up like it was ready to open. And then the state would walk through and tell you if you could have your liquor license. Which is absurd to me because that's thousands upon thousands of dollars and hours of times of investment just to get this new venture up and running. And then they could come in and say, yep, sorry, you've got the Bic lighters too close to the moccasins and no liquor license.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, what? None of that has anything to do with booze.
Yeah, I did have a little, kind of a major incident with it.
Is this fresh content or is this recycled from...
Somewhat. I think it was somewhat talked about on the radio show.
Not interested.
Okay.
You want to hear that? Go back and pay for whatever week of the podcast that was on the side gig, right?
I think you'll appreciate it, though.
I would like to hear it, actually.
Because
I'm just kidding.
It's leading to a marketplace sale of unprecedented...
I thought you were going to say it was going to lead to I thought there was going to be some local public access video of you at a local meeting fighting for your new garage.
Strangling someone with my shirt off.
Just two fists pounding on the podium about the need for this garage.
No. I'll give you the real quick version of it. So when you build something on your property, at least in this municipality, I know that... Look, there are plenty of places where people live, where they're out in the country, things are rural. You don't have to do anything with permits. You want a barn? Build a barn.
Yeah. I'm just getting the local email ready because I'm typing one on your behalf about how angry I am.
I appreciate it. Yeah. So when we don't live in one of those municipalities, you got to do things by the book here. Yeah. And you're screwed. You can only do what the township can tell you can do.
Right, and screwed being relative, because I think eventually what they really want to force people to do is hire someone to do all this stuff, because then they'll deal with the township, or they know the regulations, the codes, however it has to go.
They speak the same language.
Yes.
So I had to submit for a permit. I had to submit what is called a site plan, which is basically a map of your entire property with very specific measurements on there showing where your building is going to be or whatever you're going to put up.
So do you have to pay for a survey for this?
I did not, but I didn't have to pay for a survey because I'm lucky and that I know someone who does surveying for a living.
Beautiful. So you called him today. I'll slip you a 50.
Pretty much. And he came over with his special telescope laser beam thing.
That's insane.
He set it up. He drew it all out. And I told him exactly where I wanted the building. He said, all right, cool. He marked all the points. Next day, he emailed me a PDF. He said, here you go, submit that. I submitted it. It got instantly approved. Fast forward, 3 months, my building is up. I called them to come and do the rough-in inspection. They came out. I don't know when they came out. I was here the whole day, and I didn't see them, so... They either snuck in at 6 a.m, but whatever. They came out. The guy emailed me the next day. He said, good news. Everything looks great. You passed inspection. You're good to continue on with your build. But your shed. I said, my shed? Shed that we got 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It's totally up to code, too.
Right. You bought it brand new, they delivered it and built it in the back for you, right?
They delivered it fully assembled.
Right.
They essentially
dropped it in over the top.
They drove into the backyard, dropped it, and they were gone in 10 minutes. He said in this municipality, you can only have one
outbuilding.
They referred to it as an accessory structure.
Oh my God.
So he said, you're good to keep building, but you're not going to pass final inspection unless you get rid of your shed. So I am now in the process of selling my shed.
What an absurd...
on Facebook Marketplace. Talk about just stupid red tape. Who is that protecting? I understand they don't want someone building 10 sheds in their yard and having a shed colony in their yard. But I mean, surely this could be a case-by-case thing.
This is, I wouldn't say shocking, because it's not like this is the first instance we've ever heard of or thought of in terms of local government incompetence. But boy, what a weird... That wasn't a cheap shed.
No.
And did you pour concrete for that as well?
No, luckily I didn't.
But did you pour a pad of that
we have
gravel or something?
It's crushed rock. But
so now you're going to have to pull that, and you're just going to have a rectangle of crushed gravel out there.
Yes. But on the bright side, there is a silver lining to all of this.
Okay.
Because I got in touch with the company that we bought it from. Again, 4.5 years ago. And I said, hey, is there
any return policy on that?
I said, close. I said, do you buy used sheds back? And the guy said, yeah, absolutely. We do it all the time. A lot of times people will buy, maybe they'll buy an 8x10 shed. And then a couple years later, they realize, oh man, I really need like a 12 by 16.
Right.
So they'll trade. They'll give you credit. They'll come and pick the old one up, drop the new one off. So I was like, oh, okay. I'm not sure if you've been following the shed prices over the last 4 years.
I have not.
They've gone up.
Oh, good. Good. So
if I want, I can sell it back to them for more than I bought it from them for.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And they'll come same way they got it in there. They'll come load it up on the flatbed or whatever it is and strap it down and hit the road.
They showed up in the Zach on a flatbed. They have this thing that looks like a pallet jack that has big off-road tires on it. And they just lift the thing off, drive it into the backyard, drop it, and they're out of there.
Okay.
So
when are they coming?
I'm probably going to schedule them next week.
So they're coming. Oh, wow.
Because
good deal.
Because the guy actually said to me, he's like, yeah, sorry, we can only give you this much for it. If you had, at the beginning of, if you had done this in the spring, I would have given you a decent amount more for it.
So end of the season is kind of working against you?
He's like, I got 50 sheds on the lot right now that I'm trying to sell before snow falls. So I was like, all right. And he actually said, he's like, maybe try to sell it on Marketplace first. You'll probably get more for it there.
Okay.
And if somebody wants to buy it from you, you can get them in contact with us because we'll come out and move it for them if they want. So you don't have to buy something from this company in order for them to move it. They'll just, a one-off. So I have like 3 different people messaging me about it. And I posted it for $1,000 more than the company would give me for it. I figure if I can get a little bit more out of it.
Yeah. And this is a patented Steve giveaway where you're going to be sipping tea from the back window while
pinky in the air. Yeah.
While 2 people inevitably just struggle beyond recognition to get this thing loaded up. Because I'd argue 99.5% of people don't have the equipment necessary.
No.
So they might be in a situation where they have to take it apart or parts of it apart, and you don't seem to care. Not concerned.
Doesn't matter to me.
So what's the time frame on if this thing doesn't come to fruition through Facebook Marketplace? And like, how long are you giving that as a possibility before you just call the company back and say, come get it?
Annette and I were talking about it last week. I'll probably give it a week.
Okay.
Just posted it yesterday or maybe on Thursday. So give it a week. If it happens, cool. If not, worst case scenario, I'm breaking even after owning it for 4 years.
Yeah. And I mean, in the scheme of things, does it terribly matter to you if you have final township approval on the garage? Like, would you be okay changing it and saying, hey, if this is worth more in the spring, I'll wait until April and call the same company?
Well, technically, I have until the beginning of April to get my final inspection. That's when my permit expires.
Coming up roses.
I know.
So if you could just keep the shed then until April, get more from the same company. You don't have to worry about dealing with invalids on Marketplace who you can, hey, I'm tossing in 2 things of frayed rope, and that's mandatory. Right? But if the final approval from the municipality doesn't matter to you, which it shouldn't.
That is a good... Yeah, well, it does matter to me because I don't want to be... Like, I can get fined for having a structure that's not permitted if I go past the date that
right. But as long as... you're not...
I don't want to happen. Sure. And eventually when we sell the house, if it's not permitted, then that's a whole other... Like, I want to do this completely by the book, so everything is on the up and up.
But you got till April, you said?
Yeah, I do have until... That's like... I hadn't thought about that.
I'd say if you don't have a scumbag out here by next Friday, no offense to said scumbags.
Look, you mind if I take a moment to do
sell this thing?
To do a little... Hey, everybody. Steve here for Steve's Sheds. You're looking to get yourself into a 10 by 14 barn-style shed with tan siding, black shingled roof. It's got double doors on the front, too. 5 feet wide, so you got a zero-turn mower.
They open both ways.
You got a riding... No, they don't.
Open one way.
You got a riding mower that you want to fit. You got a kiddie pool that you need to store for the winter.
A lot of room.
There is a lot of room.
You can hang stuff.
Our music ran out. It was shorter than I thought.
Yeah, we got a loop button on that.
Yeah, it's got some miscellaneous hooks and screws in the wall.
Drive in, drive out.
No, you cannot drive into it. It is not that big. Again, 10 by 14, not big enough for a vehicle. You could drive a mower into it.
In-law suite.
No. Does not have a certificate of occupancy.
Bargain rates.
Yeah, bargain rates, I'll give you that.
On sale now.
On sale now. So if you're looking to get yourself into a 10 by 14 shed before April 9th when my permit runs out, you let me know. Thank you.
You've got till April to pay over the market rate. That's the deal. Well, listen, so there's you're not essentially in a rush. Like you don't have to. It's like you have to get this thing out of here in 3 days, where you'd be in a pinch.
Right. Yeah.
So
I got
don't lowball him.
No. I know.
He knows what he's got. Okay. Make it happen, folks.
Yeah, I know exactly what I got here. So,
boy, there's a few things I wanted to get to. I have a piece of audio that I want to play.
Okay.
But I also have a question to ask you about some recent things in my life. Which would you prefer to get to right now?
Which one do you think will be more enjoyable, more funny?
Well, let's play it's a quick thing. You and I have been making a concerted effort recently to simply drop in some automated ads. It gives us a few shekels on the back end every few months. It's not, trust me, it's not much. And they play, we just drop a marker. They put some ads in for us.
And when we say it's not, like, I will be fully transparent. We get a check for every 3 months? Or is it?
I think we get paid every month.
Okay. But it is maybe, I think on the high end, we've gotten like $40.
Oh, I think that's high end.
Yeah. We
are mostly in the teens to low to mid 20s in terms of what these are now, providing us.
Again, we've talked about this before. If we wanted to, we could probably monetize this and make more money off of it.
A lot of work.
Honestly, it does not interest me because then it becomes another job. I don't want it to be another job. Yeah. I enjoy sitting down, recording for a bit, posting it, and seeing what people's reactions are. Yeah. I don't want another job. I already have one.
Yeah, it's why the gag that I wanted to do with getting us in Valpak like 6 months ago fell through because I sent them an email from the contact sheet they had in there.
Yeah.
And they wanted to set up a phone call. Like, I don't want to do the last time we did one of those, we talked to our friend Joe, Billboard Joe, down in Ohio, who helped us out in Van Wert. Mm-hmm. I'm not dealing with Valpak sales execs.
No,
Send me a one-sheeter with how many homes I can get into for like $200 with our idiot faces and a QR code on a slip of paper.
Yeah.
Right? That's all I want in my life.
That's all we need.
So I don't listen back to these, Steve, and I think we probably have some boxes checked on this advertising system to allow essentially anything in.
You can, from what I remember, there weren't a lot of options, but I think that you could exclude yourself from getting certain kinds of ads.
Or offering. Yes.
Yeah, yes. Like, do we want advertisements for dick pills? Like,
yes.
I don't care. It doesn't really matter to me.
And we're shameless whores, so we check them all yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, we don't listen back to these. So our friend of the podcast, Dan Scheich, sent me a Snapchat yesterday or whenever it was with some audio from when he was listening back to a recent episode.
Oh, boy.
And it so jarred me that I was laughing out loud in my kitchen yesterday, Steve.
Okay.
So listen to this piece of audio from, I think it was a mid-roll ad, which is the one that happens right in the middle of our episode, that he sent us from a recent episode.
Okay. So is this just the ad, or am I going to...
No, there's like 20 seconds of us.
Okay.
Move over here, and I'm glad you're not holding a grudge. She's the one who fell back asleep.
Look.
But again, remember, like you said, not your fault.
I can't be blamed for my sleep cycles. Okay,
not your fault, like you said.
All right. So just looking at the audio, it seems like this is the point where it now goes into the ad.
Yep, so this is the ad.
For my sleep cycles.
Not your fault, like you said.
Hi, folks. Martin Parlato, host of the Lighthouse Retirement Hour. If you like...
Wait a minute, the Lighthouse Retirement Hour?
So right there you stop it. this is what I might like. What do you think that would be about?
The Lighthouse Retirement Hour.
In my mind, that's a financial guy, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's a financial guy who geo-targets like the villages in Florida.
Right, like
he's trying to get people to invest and cash out their pensions and 401ks.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Better Call Saul, he runs like one of his first scams. He runs friendly and up to old people in nursing homes and essentially getting them to like be part of a class action lawsuit against these companies.
Yeah.
In my mind, this guy is offering advice to those same people.
Okay. All right. Let's do it from the top.
Hi, folks. Martin Parlato, host of the Lighthouse Retirement Hour. If you like boring radio and you're a whiny, crybaby, woke socialist who maybe voted for Joe Biden...
I've never seen... Listen, I live in Michigan. I haven't seen a U-turn that hard in my life. I don't know what the Lighthouse Retirement Hour... I still don't know what it is. I already know I'm not listening to it anyway. But that was the most jarring turn I've ever heard.
I need to... Okay. It's going to be difficult, but I want to listen to this ad start to finish.
Yeah, without stopping.
I feel like anything could come up next.
Yeah.
He could say, come on out and join me to drive monster trucks. Like, I wouldn't be surprised.
See you at the fair.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi, folks. Martin Parlato, host of the Lighthouse Retirement Hour. If you like boring radio and you're a whiny, crybaby, woke socialist who maybe voted for Joe Biden, you're going to hate my radio show. But if you like the opportunity to try and make mo money, then right here on News Radio 97.7 WTKS Savannah, Saturdays at 6 a.m. for Part 1. Parts 1 and 2 together on Sunday morning starting at 10 a.m. is the place to be. Podcasts are available at lighthouseretirement.com.
Whoa. Martin Parlato. So peeling back the radio curtain a little bit, that is his radio show is 100% paid. He is buying that time.
Yeah.
There's no question about it, just so everybody knows.
Yeah,
before you get mad or whatever at that local radio station in Savannah, 97.7. What's the terminology?
It's called brokered radio. Right. So if I've talked about that with when I first started in radio, one of my first jobs was it's called board hopping, running the board on a Saturday morning for a talk show called Health Matters with Dr. Michael Glynn and Dr. Thomas de Blasio. And they were two doctors, and they had an hour of time, and they would talk about certain health topics, like, hey, if like what would you do? Oh, COVID. What should we do? Do you get the COVID shot? Do you not get the COVID? Obviously, this was 20 years ago, so it wasn't. But yeah, I mean, it was stuff like that. One of them, I think, was I don't even know what kind of doctors they were. It doesn't matter. But yeah, they would buy that time instead of buying a commercial on the radio station, which is 30 seconds or 60 seconds long. They would buy an entire hour. They would do their show. That hour was completely up to them. They owned that hour. So they could run their own commercials that they sell. Maybe they had a contact with a local physical therapist. Right.
So, I mean, outside of an ad, obviously, there's going to be checks and balances that, they're not, hey, KKK here chiming in. But to your point, they sell their own space.
They own the hour. They can sell their own advertising. So say they buy that hour for $1,000 a week, but they make $3,000 a week in advertising. Like, that money that they make is their money.
Yeah.
But they are not getting paid directly by the radio station or the company that owns the radio station.
But it's very, I think for Martin Parlato, he definitely is assuming this is some status symbol to say, hey, listen to my radio show.
It definitely is, yeah.
When he is paying for time, so everybody's aware. But one more time, let's listen back to that ad because I can't thread the first half to the second half, and I'm struggling to figure out why those people are not welcome to listen to a financial advice show.
Yeah, it is weird. It's taking two things and mashing them together.
Yeah, very much so. It's very odd.
Hi, Hi, folks. Martin Parlato, host of the Lighthouse Retirement Hour. If you like boring radio and you're a whiny, crybaby, woke socialist who maybe voted for Joe Biden, you're going to hate my radio show. But if you like the opportunity to try and make more money, then right here on News Radio 97.7 WTKS Savannah, Saturdays at 6 a.m. for Part 1. Parts 1 and 2 together on Sunday morning starting at 10 a.m. is
Sunday at 10 a.m. Okay, tomorrow is Sunday.
Can we tune in?
I kind of want to listen to it.
You said 10 a.m. parts 1 and 2?
Yeah.
I think we should do our best to tune in. What is there a market?
Should we call in?
Well, it's obviously recorded, right?
Hi, I'm a crybaby, whining liberal.
Yeah. We would need the exact audio from how we described it. Yes, thanks, Martin, for buying ad space on this little podcast here. Very much appreciated. I thought that was funny. Thank you so much to Dan for sending that along. That made me laugh.
There's more of this clip here.
Yeah, I think there's another ad. I don't think it was nearly.
Podcasts are available at Lighthouse Retire.
Personally, I like how he says, if you want to make mo money and podcasts available.
Podcast.com.
Hey, it's Donna from Daily Dose of Donna. Every weekday afternoon on the Daily Dose of Donna podcast, I cover all of the reality TV.
Daily Dose of Donna.
God, can you imagine talking about reality TV every day?
That's all there was in the clip. So.
Holy God, am I bored already?
Oh, God, that is amazing.
Thank you so much, Dan.
Dan, that might be your greatest contribution in life.
Oh, no, quite. Well, listen, there's 0 bands who have appreciated his work as much as we just appreciated that. So thank you so much.
Sorry, Dan. Tweak that knob a little to the left.
Yeah, honestly, that was the audio quality on that was a little subpar. Speaking of ad break, Steve, coming up after, we have a very special guest. I cannot believe this actually happened. Somebody actually took our advice, our push, to do something that we wanted done. We're going to get him on the phone coming up here after this break.
All right, take it away, Martin.
Steve, we have a lot of, I'd say, cockamamie ideas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Running through some of our most recent, some of our best. We're a 12-hour whirlwind trip to to Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Buying a billboard in Van Wert.
Yeah.
Being in a parade. Didn't work. No surprise. Live broadcasting a parade. Did work.
Did work. Yeah.
We have very, very jokingly briefly talked about flying back to like Philly or Boston for the buy-side try.
The buy-side try. What was that?
I think it was like the 450th or 350th.
I thought it was 375.
You might be right.
We missed it. We missed it by a bit.
I thought it was next year. Some anniversary was next year.
Oh.
That we were going to go, because remember we were going to interview the graves of some of our founding fathers, right?
Shockingly, no, I don't remember this idea.
Boy, I'd appreciate it if you put a little more effort in this podcast.
Apologies.
But one of the most recent ones that apparently turned out doable, and I don't even know how we got on this topic, was we were talking about the biggest ball of twine.
Yeah, I don't know how that came up. It was somewhere in Minnesota.
Yeah, gosh, was it Daphne? Well,
yeah,
anyway.
No idea. No idea.
We jokingly said anybody nearby needs to go there who listens to this. And they did. Our friend Chris Searcy made the trek, sent us pictures.
Okay.
We'll ask him if we can post some of those pictures of him and his poor family visiting the world's biggest ball of twine.
Now, I remember taking shots at this ball of twine because it wasn't actually a ball. It was just kind of a lump of twine.
Yes.
It's not a sphere. It was just a lump. It was wider at the bottom than it was at the top. It didn't, you couldn't roll it around.
Yeah, Darwin, Minnesota.
Darwin,
Minnesota. Okay. It was the late Francis Johnson's famous giant ball. Francis Johnson looks like he was twirling a ball of twine. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Chris gave us the okay, and I'd like to ask him 1,000 questions. Most importantly, have you found a good divorce attorney?
Okay.
To, no doubt complete the process.
Okay, so we're going to get him on.
Yes, and let's see if our new technology
this is the first time
actually works.
See.
Yeah, it's the maiden voyage. Chris, is that you?
Yes, is that you, Kyle?
Oh, it is. It's lovely to talk to you, Chris. We have 1 million questions. We just set up.
I don't really have that many questions. I'll be honest. It's a ball of twine.
Well, first of all, Chris, have we spoken to you before? Have we called you for 2 minutes of awkward conversation probably years ago?
No, you guys promised that you would, but you never did, like all of your other friends.
Well, as promised, here we are.
That sounds about right.
So, Chris, you took a trip in the name of this podcast. We can't thank you enough. I need to ask you first, though, how far away, straight line right now, do you live from Darwin, Minnesota's biggest ball of twine?
Right around an hour.
Okay. So when you messaged us, and apologies for the delay, that's about how good we are at reading messages on time. You were on your way to your parents' house with your family.
Right.
How far away is your parents' house?
To go to another hour down the road.
Okay. So out of the way, if you had to estimate, how far out of the way was this trip to Darwin?
Maybe 10 miles.
Okay.
All right.
I'd argue that's just enough, though,
Yeah.
to irritate. For that long of a trip, you're like, hey, we can be there by lunchtime or whatever. Because while it's 10 miles out of the way, call it 10 minutes, then you're getting out of the car. Then you're looking, you're wandering around the hustle and bustle of Darwin and seeing all that Darwin has to offer. So when did this idea come up? And apologies for not knowing. Are you married, Chris? Are you with somebody?
I'm married with 3 kids.
Okay. So when this came up to your significant other and you said, hey, on the way to my folks, we need to make a pit stop. And when she inevitably asked, where? How did you explain to her your plan?
I just said, hey, do you care if we just go to Darwin, which is just right on the way? And she's like, no, that's way out of our f***ing way. I'm like, no, it's really not. Sorry, my language.
No, it's fine. It's
all right.
We'll beep it. It's no big deal. So obviously she had questions about why.
Goes, yeah, and then I go, because it's a podcast that I follow. And she's like, who the hell cares about that? I do. And that was it.
So you made her and your poor children.
So then I dropped the subject and kind of got in an argument. And then for whatever reason, after we went shopping a little bit in the town that we were at, we drove that way and we stopped there.
Okay. So the pictures you provided, I won't post them without your permission. You look the least joyed of anybody in that photograph. Is that accurate?
I hate taking pictures. It's beyond stupid.
Okay, and obviously your wife said no chance.
I try to smile, and it just comes out fake, so I don't even bother.
Your
Can
wife.
I see them? Do you have them pulled up on your
I have them in the messages. Sorry, let me pull here. I can pull them up right here because. What were the initial thoughts when you guys got out of the car and your family? You walked up to this gigantic ball of dumb. That's not even really a ball. Were they in awe? Where they said, "Okay, Dad, all set." How long were you there?
20 minutes probably, but there's a park right across the street. So we quickly looked at it, and the kids were like, this is kind of stupid and dumb. And then we took some pictures, and I stood there. They ran across the street and went to the park.
What is it like? Is it just kind of posted up in town center? Or is there a big hubbub, like 14 street signs, turn left now for the ball of twine?
Town is maybe, I don't know, 150 people.
Okay, but this is
there's
it.
a bar, there's a gas station, and this is on the main drag of the town. And there's I guess there's a museum, which I didn't even know. I've been there before.
Wait, there's a what? A museum?
But it wasn't open, obviously. There's a museum. That yellow building behind it.
What is it?
Is a museum.
Just of the ball of twine, or of the whole town of Darwin?
I don't know. It was closed. It was a Sunday.
I can't fathom there's enough there to have a museum. I hate to ask you twice. On your next trip, can you stop through and see what the museum has to offer?
Maybe pick us up a program or something?
Yeah, can you send a pamphlet our way, please, for Darwin that we can hang on our wall here?
I could certainly do that next time through.
Okay.
It's a weekday, but who knows when that's going to ever happen.
Right.
Yeah, I will. Then when you send us that, in return, just I'll send you back a list of the best divorce attorneys in your local area, because that's probably what will finally do it. Has Darwin, Minnesota done what a lot of these small towns do? Like Salem, Massachusetts has made everything about themselves about the witch trials back in the 1600s. Is Darwin, like, do they have the local pub, like the big ball of twine, and all their drinks are like shot of twine? Or do you want some white twine or a twine spritzer?
Oh, white twine. Yes.
I've never ever stopped in that. I've never ever stopped in that town, except for I've driven by this ball of twine plenty of times because I ran a business and I would drive through that town all the time. But this is only 2 times that I've stopped there. I've never stopped at the bar that's in town a little bit up the street. That's it. Well, there's a gas station, but that's a little bit farther down. I've stopped at that plenty of times. Never heard of anybody else saying about this ball of twine.
Can you buy merch there? Was there anything like that you could do, or is it just a ball of twine, take your picture, and be on your way?
Well, I would have to be in the museum. I guess I don't have a clue.
I really hate to do this to you, but yeah, you're gonna have to head back there, Chris.
I think the whole family has to go, but you owe it to your family, to learn the history of this thing.
What you've done is led them on an incomplete visit down history's lane of Darwin, Minnesota, and you need to now complete that circle. You need to now complete the ball of twine, for lack of a better term, and bring them all back there and force them through that yellow house museum.
Yeah.
I could certainly try to do that.
And also because we need a pamphlet or some merch to hang on the walls here. That is, the one question, the thing that Steve and I were so skeptical about, was it as big as they kind of made you think it was going to be, or was it a letdown?
No, it's a letdown because it looks like it's kind of sunk.
That was our problem.
Exactly what I was saying. It looks like a lump. It looks like a thumb sticking up out of the ground. It's big and fat on the bottom. It's not. I mean, it's not at all shaped like a ball.
Yes,
it's the biggest. It's a big lump of twine.
Yeah,
I bet we could do better.
I think we could. I think we should do better.
Yeah,
as a podcast and as a country.
You go for it. You can go to every farm that's around you in Michigan there and just keep on collecting twine.
Chris,
I will, and then you're going to have to bring your family here to see it.
Absolutely. Well, you're part of the building crew now, Chris. You didn't know that, but you signed up to be part of the building crew. Before we get you out of here, Chris, I want to ask.
I can't wait.
What is your family's idea of a vacation? Are you guys hey, we're going to try to go somewhere warm and tropical Florida? Are you let's take a road trip to and go hiking? Where does your family land on that spectrum?
So the last 4 or 5 years we've spent way too much stupid money, and we went to Arizona 3 times. Okay. I was not there for one of the trips, and then to Florida, and my wife and I went to Hawaii.
Okay, so you're leaning tropical, because I hate to do this to you again. You are now our roadside attraction correspondent. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if we find something, the world's biggest rat carcass in the middle of Nebraska, I'm sorry, we're going to need you in a pinch.
Yeah, you're going to have to pack up the family truckster, load everyone in, and head over.
I could think of one more that's in this Minnesota area, which is other than Paulani and stuff like that.
Okay.
The big crow. There's a crow that's in a tiny, tiny town
a crow?
Nest. A crow.
Like a bird?
A bird. A crow.
Okay.
Yes. This thing is, like, massive.
Well, I think we're going to need to see some pictures of this.
Honestly, I don't know what your wife and kids are doing today, but I mean, we can give you 90 minutes, and we'll give you a call. What we really need out of you going forward now.
I wouldn't even be able to drive there in 90 minutes.
Okay, so this is further away. So this is the real test of that family love and marriage, is by saying, hey, you remember that one that was 10 miles out of the way on our way to a destination? How about 90 minutes like the other way, or 2 hours the other way?
Chris, I got a plan for you. Here's the best way to do it. Gather everyone up. Be like, hey, why don't we go get some ice cream? And then get in the car and just drive for 90 minutes.
Just lie to them.
I can certainly do that, something like that, just in your guys' name.
Yeah.
What I'd like to see out of you
Appreciate
going forward is maybe like a form of a go bag. And just have a few toiletries and a change of clothes, and obviously a disposable camera or something like that. Because you probably won't have any phone service or wherever you're going. So we need some photographic evidence for whenever we send you on these trips to the roadside attractions that we're going to locate. That you are now the new Steve and Kyle podcast roadside attraction correspondent.
You do know that a cell phone doesn't need to take pictures with service, right?
Listen, I'd prefer the paper photo that we can hang on the wall here. Okay.
It completes the whole look of Dad taking the family on vacation.
I need you hopping out of the car with calf-high socks on top of your tennis shoes and a sweatshirt wrapped around your waist, and you're busting out the wind-em-up Kodak to make sure you can get your 24 photos at the newest roadside attraction.
What kind of socks? I don't know. Is this a Michigan thing?
No, calf-high socks, man. Yeah, those white tube socks that are going to go up halfway up your leg, and because you're going to be wearing shorts, and the sweatshirt wrapped around your waist because you never know what type of temperature it's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. In this neck of the woods, you never know what the weather is going to be like.
Well, thank you very much for
the white basketball socks is what you're talking about.
Yes,
you go.
Yes.
I gotcha.
If you can get some with the stripes at the top, like I always had the ones with the blue and the red stripes at the top, or maybe the yellow and green.
Yeah.
Those are a good look.
And then you need to be wearing the world's #1 dad hat. Something like that with like a beer mug on it. Because, your dad's a rascal. He's a drinker.
My dad's an alcoholic.
Oh, thank you so much for stopping by there, Chris.
About me already.
We appreciate you stopping by. Our apologies to your family. Is your wife not a listener of the podcast then?
Oh, yeah. Good luck with that.
Oh, thanks for the time, Chris. Send our best to your wife and kids, and thank them for stopping through Darwin. It's been a pleasure. We will let you know your next trip that you'll be on. We'll let you know as soon as we run across another oddity, okay?
All right. Sounds good.
Thanks, Ben.
Chris. Good up and luck with that.
If there's ever I have yet to find in all of our discussions with listeners and people who follow this show, anybody whose significant other also listens. It just doesn't exist. Well, our significant others don't even listen.
It makes sense because that may be a new piece of merch. 0 significant other listeners.
It's incredible. Like everybody we talk to, married, kids, wife listen. No. Not chance.
No.
She's getting local murder at the bridge. is on her cell phone. Thank you to Chris. Thanks a bunch.
Oh man, I love the idea of him being our terrible roadside attraction correspondent.
Yeah. I listen. We need to add to our correspondence list. We've got
we'll take correspondence from any area of the country.
Absolutely. If we find something dumb like this that you're willing to go to, we'll definitely take you up on that.
Yeah.
On the way out the door, make sure to check our social medias this week at Steve and Kyle, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'll be posting a link to the new merch store.
Yeah.
The updated merch store. There is going to be coming up later this week, Friday, I believe, October 27th, starting. There's going to be 30% off the entire store.
That's awesome.
And it's perfect time because in just a short couple of weeks, the 48th anniversary of the sinking of the Eddie Fitz is coming up, as well as the Winter Solstice gift exchange, as well as the regular holiday season. Get some show merch for everybody in your life so they can look at you and say, huh? when they unwrap it.
And there is so much new stuff in the merch store.
Yeah, we'll talk about it more coming up this season.
Kyle put in some work. Not like real work, not at his job, but...
Yeah, not in the trenches or anything.
No.
I don't want that to be misconstrued. But yeah, a bunch of new designs up at steveandkyle.com/merch. Check those out for 30% off starting later this week. Get loaded up for the holiday season starting now.
At Steve and Kyle, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. There might be some polls up there.
I think one or two. Yeah.
On Twitter and Facebook. So you can check them out now. We will talk to you next week. See ya.
See ya.